For a confidence level of 95% with a sample size 25, find the critical t-value. So the clue of what distribution to use is the fact that it asks us to find a t-value. This suggests that we're probably running a confidence interval for a mean, estimating a mean of a population. And so we're going to use the t-distribution, which is a bell-shaped curve, much like the normal distribution. I'm going to put my 95% here in the middle. Always do that. And that leaves 0.05 for the tails, and if I split that into 2, I have 0.025 in each tail. Now, what I need to do is to find, sometimes this is written as t sub alpha over 2, which in our case is t sub 0.025. We're finding the t-value that has 0.025 to the right. Well, a couple ways to do this. I could either look at my t-distribution and t-distribution table rather, and know that because there's 0.05 in two tails, that's the same thing as 0.025 in each tail. So I know that my critical value must be in this middle column here. So what I'm looking at is the area that's left over after my confidence level is put in the middle. There's 0.05 left over for the two tails. So that tells me I must be in the middle column. Or if I want to look at just the area in one tail, that's 0.025, still looking in the middle column. Now, what row I'm in is determined by the sample size. And we typically use degrees of freedom equal to the sample size minus 1. So in this example, the degrees of freedom is 24. So I'm going to go down to row 24 in the middle column, and there lies my critical value, 2.064. Another way we could have gotten that critical value is using a spreadsheet. And this is what you'll need to do if you aren't given a nice significance level. So for example, if we had a confidence level rather of 98, then 98 would be in the middle, and we'd have 0.02 left over, and no problem. But what if we were given a confidence level of 97.7? Well, then you're left with 2.3% or 0.023 for the two tails, and you don't have a 0.023 in here. So there is no column for that. So in those cases where your confidence level is not one of these usual ones to give you 0.01, 0.02, 0.05, 0.1, or 0.2 left over for your tails, then you'll need to use a spreadsheet or some other form of technology. So to use a spreadsheet, fairly simple. You just have to use the equals t.inv function. And this is assuming that there's one tail. So how much is left over for the one tail? Well, if I say 0.025, because remember, that's what we had in one tail, 0.025, 0.025, it's going to assume I'm looking for the t on this side, which is fine. Let me throw in my degrees of freedom, 24, but it's giving me the negative 2.063. Does that round to 2.64? Sure enough, 2.064 when rounded, except it's giving me the negative. So you could either just know that these questions about confidence intervals are looking for the positive, and whatever your spreadsheet gives you, change it to a positive, 0.64, or you could be a little more mathematical and notice that, well, to the left of this t critical value, there's 9.95 plus 0.025, which is 0.975. So if I change the area from 0.25 to 0.975, Now it will know I want the positive critical value, 2.064.